They had an issue where they detected irregular activity on their network last week. They haven't had internet services. We were told by the district that people were contacted. Providence police said that they were not contacted, and the state police said that they haven't been either. So who is investigating, and what's your understanding of the situation?
Yeah, my understanding is that Providence Public Schools misspoke when they said that they reached out to local law enforcement. They have not. I've been told that they reached out to federal and state law enforcement. I hear what you're saying, but that's what we were told. They definitely did not reach out to Providence Police. And the city and the school department's IT infrastructure is totally separate. There's one connection on an accounting software that's been blocked to secure the city's computers. There's been no issues with the city's IT infrastructure. We are fully functional and stand ready to help PPSD, but have not been asked for any of that help. Any questions about what might be going on beyond that, you have to ask PPSD. It's not our computer system, and I don't know any more than that.
Do you think the city should be getting involved, especially if there maybe is an outside actor?
I think the city, our first responsibility is to ensure that our data is secure, and it is. And if they think we can be helpful, we have an IT department that's ready to help. But it's a separate system. Honestly, it'd be no different than how we might treat if a neighboring city or town had an issue and asked for our help. We want to be good partners, and we would do so. But it's an entirely separate system, other than this one accounting system, which has been severed to ensure the safety and integrity of our data in City Hall.
Does their security and their communications team concern you at all when you're thinking about taking back control of the district?
We've talked many times about how there are certain pieces of information that I don't know or don't share with me. This is another circumstance. I don't feel the need to insert myself where I'm not going to be helping with the situation. We have resources, though, and we're willing to help if they think they need them.
Why do you want the Providence school system go back to the city of Providence?
So the commissioners asked for an additional 3 years. I've said, and I'll say again, that was disappointing to me. I was hoping that it would be sooner than that. We weren't ready for the school year that started 2 weeks ago, but we're working hard to demonstrate that we will be ready as early as this upcoming summer. And so my hope is that 3-year extension can get trimmed back to two years, but that is in the hands of the commissioner and the K-12 State Board of Education. They've identified the areas where we need to demonstrate capacity, and that's why we're hard at work at that. We had a community education session this past Saturday. That was a piece of that puzzle to demonstrate capacity and commitment and community support, but we're going to keep working to show the commissioner and the board that we're ready.
Well, allocate more funding for the school also.
We did allocate more funding last year, and I expect as we go through the budget this year, that's something that we'll have a very serious conversation about. Last year's budget was the largest increase of local funds into the school system in 17 years, which is a meaningful increase in school funding, and it remains a priority for me and the City Council. As I've said before, Providence Public Schools have been underfunded for decades. We cannot, in a financially responsible way, solve that problem in 1 year. But over a course of many years, we can, in fact, make progress towards solving that problem, and so we're going to stay at it. But it has to be at a pace that the taxpayers can afford, and it doesn't come at the expense of other services that people rely on.
Mayor, 11 Friendship Street is being proposed as a housing development. What can you tell us about this?
So that proposal is in front of the City Planning Commission. That is an independent board who's going to make their decision, but as folks hopefully know, I'm broadly supportive of new housing in the city. We've also had a lot of problems with that old club, and so replacing a problematic nightclub with dozens of new housing units in our city, I think is nothing but a good opportunity. They need to make sure that the developer is real and that his plans are substantive and that it conforms to the various zoning and planning requirements. But generally speaking, I'm in support of new housing proposals citywide, and particularly given that this is going to replace a location that has been a source of problems. I think this is a great opportunity for me.
And speaking of the housing crisis, the Providence Streets Coalition recently wrote an open letter to mayors and council leaders. They say that the housing crisis is an urgent issue that needs to be tackled, and that there's one solution that would be eliminating parking versus citywide. What do you think about that, and is that possible?
So in the comprehensive plan that got a public hearing last night that's with the city council, that's effectively my comprehensive plan. And the comprehensive plan talks about exploring either reducing or eliminating parking minimums in certain areas. We've already reduced parking minimums along transit corridors. I think that is good policy. Where there is an alternative, in this case the bus, then you could build an apartment building with less parking because the people who live there are more likely to avail themselves of transit. That both allows us to meet our need for more housing and reduces carbon emissions and traffic and congestion for everyone else. That's a good thing. And so I would need to study the impacts and the potential consequences of all-out elimination of parking minimums. We already know that many of our neighborhood streets are clogged with cars parking overnight. It does make it difficult to remove snow or to deal with flooding, and it can be a burden on those neighborhoods. And so total elimination is something that I'm always willing to hear proposals, but I would have some skepticism about. But the relaxation or reduction of parking minimums is good policy. We employ some of that already, and the comprehensive plan that I've proposed that's with the city council now speaks to that in the plan.
Just one quick one. I know that the Defense Department is supposed to take control of the skyline. Has there been any change with that? Have they locked up the doors, anything like that?
Not yet. We're still waiting to actually finalize the agreement. The sequence of events where we had negotiated a tentative agreement that required council approval through the claims committee. That happened maybe a week and a half ago, and now we're finalizing the actual legal agreement with the tenants. Once that's signed, Parks Department will take the keys, secure the facility, but that agreement has not yet been signed. But I have no reason for concern. I think it's lawyers trading paper back and forth, and that process takes a couple days sometimes.
So that being said, you can't speak to the final number.
I cannot yet, not until we're done. But we will. I'm sure we'll be.
Thank you.